Who could have thought that you would have made it all the way to this list? The list of the goriest upcoming boomer shooters. Nonetheless, I'm super glad that you're here, and I just want to let you know that this list is not in any particular order. They've just been smashed together by me, and it's a damn bloody one. Now, just a little disclaimer before we kick this off. I will be talking and showing some really gruesome stuff here, but this is all in the world of video games. It's fantasy, it's fiction, and that's where these things stay, okay? Now let's do this. First up is not the bloodiest game on this list, but without a doubt the craziest game. What you're seeing here is actually me playing the demo completely unedited, apart from a few cuts here and there. No effects or anything has put into this footage. This is how raw gameplay of this game looks. And not only is it absolutely crazy, it's scary crazy. And not in a oh shit there might be a jump scare around the corner scary, but scary crazy in how everything is designed, how fast the enemies move towards you, the sound design of them screaming at you. Everything about this game just screams, I want to mess with your head and make you feel very uneasy. And it definitely succeeds at doing just that. And on top of that is the visual gore, and it is plentiful. Not only can you blast your foes into chunks of meat and blood splats with your weapons, you can also slice your enemies with some very meaty melee combat. Acheron describes itself as a brutal first-person shooter with intense gunplay and visceral melee combat, all in beautiful PSX-style graphics. Now we get to wage a relentless war against hordes of enemies in a blood-soaked decaying world, all while leaving a river of death behind us, as we slay everything in front of us. Now after playing the demo, I can say that it does take some time getting used to this game. It's so fast-paced, it's loaded with secrets, and the guns, the bullet spread on them, it's nuts. And its visuals, well, they are quite cluttery to be honest, but it is just as intended. At first it might not feel like something you'd like to invest hours and hours upon, due to the factors that I just mentioned, but once you start to get the hang of it and your eyes start to adjust to this absolute nuts world, well, then it's actually really enjoyable. The demo, however, is just a few minutes long, so there isn't all that much to go on here, but what is there needs to be replayed at least 3 times to be fully appreciated. Now this is one that looks absolutely brutal and really does not seem to lack the visual punch to it. This is called Paperhead, and currently it has no Steam page. The best way if you want updates on this one is through Twitter, or if you join my Discord. I'll post in there if anything worth mentioning pops up. So I really suggest you join the Discord now, okay? Now, as you might have guessed, not all that much is known about the game so far, more than you play in a world where enemies are made of paper, and so are the most of your weapons, or at least they are related to paper in one way or another. As an example, we got the pen. With the pen you can draw things like a bomb that will go kaboom! Eventually, however, the pen will run out of the thing that you draw with, which I don't know what it's called in English. However, to sharpen the pen again, you use razor blades scattered around the map. And to me, things like this shows the innovation and new thinking that this developer is implementing into the game, and I absolutely freaking love it. Now the enemies who are made of paper, well, these papers, they bleed, and they bleed a lot. And what makes this stand out so much with its gore is the actual graphicals of the blood and the visual gameplay feedback of the combat. It looks really to have that punch that makes every kill feel so satisfying and bloody, with the blood really popping out from the rest of the game. And not only that, the game looks really fast-paced with some high double jump mechanics at play here, opting for some godlike feeling kills to be had. Now my hypometer is quite damn high for this one, even though almost nothing is known about the game apart from a few gameplay clips here and there. But the meter is still very high due to the fact that the gameplay we're seeing rolling here looks nothing short of incredibly fun, punchy and meaty. Now, if you're like me and don't have any hair on your head, well, I'm sorry, this game is not going to be for you. But if you are not like me and you actually have hair on your head, well, then why aren't you rocking a mullet? Let me introduce Mullet Mad Jack, a post-void-like game that is all about time management by killing. It is a fairly new concept to the world of gaming. I think we have around 3 games that are rocking this mechanic in one way or another. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that though. However, it is a mechanic that works well. Now, if you saw my recent review on the Warstrike Challenges game, well, then you know that that game is also all about time. But in that game, you have to be as fast as you possibly can. And in Mullet Mad Jack, it's all about being smart. Not always being as fast as you can, but actually taking it in a moderate speed so that you have time to think and start killing things different ways, which adds more time to the clock. So as an example, throwing an enemy into a running fan so they turn into a smoothie of blood will give you X amount of time. Shooting them in the head will give you another X amount of time, and so on. Meaning just running and constantly gunning won't be the most effective way of playing this game. Hence, the game is encouraging you to turn this into a gore fest. Now the story, it revolves around you live streaming your killing run, and by satisfying your viewers with unique ways of killing your enemies, you gain time. And the game, it puts a heavy focus on the feel of killing. You're supposed to get a rush from killing as nasty as you possibly can, putting heavy emphasis on the gore, blood, and the feedback of nailing a kill. And frankly, the game succeeds. It even sprouts its own take on glory kills, which are very neat, very up close and right in your face. You get to put knives through the skulls of your foes or break their neck. And if you would like to see this live, well, I was lucky enough to get early access to this game, so if you want 1 hour of raw gameplay, head on over to the live section on my channel.
Wish list now. Mullet Mad Jack.
Now imagine a world where you are a cold-blooded mercenary in a fantasy World War II era where not only war rages but also Cthulhu. Sounds like the perfect setting for a bloody shooter, eh? Well, it is, and what makes this game stand out from the crowd is just that. Its setting and everything it brings with it. In this, we don't play as an ordinary human mercenary. Oh no, we get to play as Lazar, a 500-year-old occultist who is on the hunt for magical artifacts of untold power. And that brings forth more than just pretty sick looking weapons to use. We also get to use magic to slay all and everything that dares to stand in our way. Plus, we get to use it for some puzzling and platforming, all balanced to bring different sets of momentum to the pacing of the game. Now the blood, it doesn't really pop as much in this game as in some of the others on this list, but the dismemberment does, and that combined with the blood makes it very pleasing to the eye. And just the fact that we are killing soldiers fighting in World War II, but not as soldiers of the opposing country, but as an actual slaying machine, makes the killing feel in a totally different way than your ordinary shooter. It's actually quite hard to describe the feeling without playing it, but it feels very good and kinda exotic in a way. Now the game doesn't just offer mindless shooting as we all love, it also has elements of platforming and puzzling just as I said, but the overall tone of the game still makes even the platforming and puzzling feel dark and gritty, always keeping you on your toes, ready to blast the head of whatever might try and stand in your way around the next corner. Now the game, it has a demo out, and this game doesn't play as your regular dusk shooter. This will test your ability to make each shot count more than your regular boomer shooter out there, but it's not in a way that feels bad. The playstyle that the game is going for fits the overall tone of the game super well, and the demo, it just had a huge update with a ton of improvements, so I really recommend you go test it out for yourself to see what I actually mean. Interrupting this video with an important message from Slim. Well, hi there, my name is Slim. I run a YouTube channel that focuses on indie first-person shooter games. I really love to help out the small developer give their game some well-deserved exposure, all while helping you find those hidden gems that are often so very well buried in the internet. Now, if you would like to support this journey, consider becoming a member today for as low as $1.99. Now, can you believe it, friends? Here we have another game that is all about the feeling of killing, but this time it's more about taking out your revenge by murdering criminal crocodiles. Now, crocodiles or not, this game's one sole purpose is to get from point A to B by finding new and creative ways to kill whatever stands in your way, in very short but creative levels. This, just as Mullet Mad Jack, has a cartoony style to it, but that doesn't necessarily dumb down the actual gore and brutality of the game. We got plenty of purple blood, a decent ragdoll effect, amping up that feeling of holy shit, this thing went from alive to dead. And we're also rocking a foot stronger than the punch of Superman, which you will be using to kick open doors, preferably so they fly into the faces of your enemies, and also killing them on the way. Now the game has a demo available, and it is super fun, and everything about it just feels so incredibly well polished. Everything is super fast paced, but yet it feels so detailed and high quality. Even though you usually don't see things for more than a couple of seconds, it still manages to capture a sense of actually killing things in a detailed, rich environment. And one could think that this would ease the anger of angry people, but no, this is not an easy game by any means, and you might end up getting just frustrated. But let me tell you, it is oh so satisfying once you actually nail a hard level. Seeing that purple blood fly everywhere without you taking a single hit, it's a feeling to cherish. Now the full game of this one was recently delayed to 2024, but I have a feeling that it's going to be worth it. Judging from the quality of this rather old demo, gives you the sparkling feeling that the full game is going to deliver something really magnificent. For all of us who loves to do some brutal killing in video games. Okay, so this right here is a game that is quite similar to Fear, and if you then turn back time some and add in some Soldier of Fortune to the mix, well, then you got Shoot to Kill, a game that emphasizes slow motion and dismembering your enemies. Even so much so that if you want to keep your health and ammo in check, well, you will have to focus on dismembering arms, legs and heads as much as you possibly can, all while seeing those body parts and blood fly everywhere in some super well crafted bullet time. Now Shoot to Kill actually plays a lot more like your traditional modern boomer shooter with fast movement, dashing and double jumping, and guess what? This one also has a demo that is soon to be vastly improved with an update, including new weapon models for that extra crispy good feel when you shoot your foes. And that updated demo is actually what you're seeing here on screen right now, and it's looking really good if I may say so myself. Now the gore in this one is very much ketchup-like, but it's done with a super great attention to detail. If you look at how the blood splashes and how it gets on your weapon, well, it actually looks really good and gives you a good sense of the bullet's impact. The game, it takes place in the dystopian future of 2140, where a new world war is beginning to unfold, and of course it's up to no other than you to stop this by shooting with the purpose to kill. So if dismembering your foes in amazing bullet time with some really cool and crispy weapons in the future sounds like your jam, I'm pretty confident to say that this will probably not disappoint. Oh boy, we got Coven, the game that lets you eat your foes like they were your breakfast sandwich, testicles included. But before I get into the more juicy details, I have to tell you guys something about this game. Something apart from the fact that it is absolutely awesome, bloody and brutal in so many ways. So what I want to tell you is why this game is very close to my heart, and always will be. The old demo of this game was one of my first ever boomer shooter coverages I did on the channel. Also, the first ever video where a developer commented on that video. A developer who turned out to be pretty damn awesome, making an even more awesome game. And that was that. That was the story I wanted to tell you guys, and that's why this game will always be super close to me. Now putting that aside, this game absolutely rocks your socks off, and god damn, this is a bloody game if I ever saw one. And it really does stick out. It's not your regular boomer shooter with a ton of blood and gore added to it. No, no, no. In this, you play as a girl who has been faulty burnt on the stake. Awake from the dead you do, but this time with the powers of a witch, wielding deadly magic, ranged weapons and melee weapons to take out your revenge on this plague-infested town and its citizens for faulty burning you. And right from the get-go, you feel that this is not a game that will hold back on anything in regards to the gore. To gain health as an example, you eat the corpses of the ones that you just slayed, and chopping an arm off with a sword or axe, it comes as standard in this one. However, if you charge your swing up, well then you can slice them in half, because why not? And to amp it up just a little bit more, the game also has a form of bullet time, turning everything into black and white apart from the blood of your enemies. An effect that does so much to the gore and feeling of that bullet time, but is yet so simple. Now this game is not far from its early access release, so expect me to share some more information in regards of the overall game in the upcoming indie first-person shooters for October video, and of course a full review when the time comes. Are you ready to become humanity's last stand? Humanity's last stand against the bugs that we once raised to fight for us in the Great War. The bugs that you used to train and fight alongside with. I'm glad to hear that you are, because that is exactly what you will be doing in this futuristic, fast-paced, guns-blazing new first-person shooter, Exocide. Now, if you don't heed this call, well, then we are all doomed, as all humanity has left is a fighting colony of a few thousand people, while bugs keep on increasing in numbers. Luckily though, I heard that you are accepting this calling, and you will be equipped with a backpack that needs balancing its power out, a backpack that can carry 2 guns with its own arms sticking out from the backpack. Plus, you got 2 hands that you can carry your own 2 guns with, meaning you can carry a total of 4 weapons at the same time or 1 huge weapon. And that is of course opting for some real carnage to be had. And the bugs, they of course bleed. They bleed in different colors, making for some beautiful rainbow colored splat shows with your 4 guns. Now the gore is not really anything spectacular here, but it is so plentiful, and the mere carnage seen in the gameplay clips shows that a lot of the time you will be seeing tons and tons of bug blood showered all over your screen. And not only that, the game's description also emphasizes that the game has some really meaty melee combat as well, with a focus on close and gory combat. However, without playing or knowing all that much about this one, my first impressions from it is that this could be turbo overkill, but with a little bit of Starship Troopers sprinkled in there. Maybe, maybe not, but it kinda looks like it. And guess what? I really, really like it. Which game are you the most excited for in this video? Let me know down in the comments, and stay tuned for part 2. But until then, don't miss these.